Hey guys, Ryan Earnhardt here from CreativeSoundLab.tv. Today we're going to be comparing 10 different snares and talking about how the snare drum actually changes our perception of an entire drum kit. Change out the snare and it sounds like it's a different drum kit entirely, but all we've done is change one drum. So I have kind of a big announcement. Today I'm offering and opening up a completely free course. It's how to tune, record, and mix snare drums. So you can sign up via the link in the upper right of the screen. And every couple of days I'll have a new video that comes out in the course. I'll be emailing you links to each video as it's ready. So if you're already on my email list, you can still take the course. Just make sure you're getting my emails. Again, you can sign up via the upper right. So in today's video, we're really going to be comparing 10 different snare sounds and really trying to understand why it changes the sound of the drums so much. I have a couple of different theories on this and why this happens. Let's go back to the kit and we'll talk more. I like to say that the snare drum is the fingerprint of the entire drum set. It's almost like the sound of the entire drum set is defined by this drum. If we change out the snare, a lot of times it can sound like a very big change. It can sound like a totally different kit. Obviously, the kick drum is the same, the toms are the same, the cymbals are the same, but change out that snare drum, all of a sudden it's like, wow, that's a different kit. Well, it's really not, it's just changing out one drum. It's kind of like a vocal track. If you were to change out the vocalist in a band, it would sound like a different band, you know? The articulation of all the lyrics, the style of the singing, I mean, it's a different group entirely. So switch out that one element and you make such a big change. With drums, it's the snare drum. It really is a fingerprint of the drum kit. And that's why it's so important to get this right. I like to think of this as really the only element of the drum kit that's actually covering the entire frequency range. You know, we have some snare drums that are actually fairly deeply tuned, and they actually have some low end at, say, 100 hertz. Pretty much right there in the kick drum territory. Of course, we have mid-range, right? We have the ringing. That's all mid-range, right? And then we have snares, right? So it's different from the toms in that we have wires on the bottom. So it really covers the entire frequency range, and that's key. I think that's why changing out the snare makes it sound like you changed out the entire drum kit. It really occupies the entire range. Now with this, we could say that the kick is the lows. Of course we have toms, but between kind of the trinity of groove, we have the kick drum, the snare drum, and the hi-hat, right? We can make a groove with that. And between that, we have lows, mids, highs. But the snare drum kind of covers a lot, right? So the snare drum actually is a bridge between the kick and the hi-hat and the cymbals. So we have a kick, we have some lows of the snare, of course we have a lot of mids of the snare, then we have the snares, the wires, that kind of blend right into the hi-hat. So that's why it can be kind of cool to have sloshy hi-hats, because it actually kind of blends with the actual vibrating of the snares. And it actually gives like this really nice kind of sloshy, playable groove. And if the snare is deep tuned, well, then we have kind of a bridge, and it really acts as a glue for the entire drum kit. I'm thinking of maybe Wilco, something with like dead toms, just a lot of low end. The snare is definitely a glue. Maybe like a funk tune, maybe not so much the glue. It definitely is a counter to the kick. In the 90s, Red Hot Chili Peppers, like big high-tuned snares, lots of room sound. It's more of a counter to the kick. But it still is really the only thing that can bridge the low end to the high end. So depending on the style of music, you may have a snare that counters the kick. Like a funk tune, it's going to have maybe a high-tuned snare. But maybe like a singer-songwriter or more of a soulful thing, it's going to have a snare that really blends in with the kind of dark character, the low end of the kit. So it really has to be genre-specific here. It's not really about the drummer's preference. You always have to consider what's right for the song. So, again, I'm opening up my free course today, how to tune, record, and mix snare drums. You can sign up via the link on the upper right of the screen. The first video of the course is available right now. I really hope that you come along for the ride on this one. This is going to be really good. I'm really pouring a lot of information in this course. So I'd love to know what you think of this. What kind of snares do you like to use? Do you have lots of snares in your studio, or do you just have one that really does a lot of different things? Love to know your thoughts on this. Be hanging out in the comments below.